Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another Sunday
Hello.
night shenanigans.
Howdy,
Hello
howdy.
to my three legends here. Brad, first time on my channel, I believe.
Could be. It's
Yeah, I think you're the last of the regulars to jump on.
Should we talk about what happened last week, or we just gonna...
we can if you want.
No. We've had a couple of weeks off, which has been nice to take some time away from the live shows. Obviously, we love doing them on the old Barbary reselling, but now it's over here on Uncle Wayno's world, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, cool. There's nothing wrong with mentioning that. So last week, I had Mel planned as a guest weeks ago, and she got COVID, obviously. And then last week, I wasn't really sure what she was doing, and I hadn't organised anything. And I messaged Brad on Friday, I think, or Saturday, and I was like, "Hey, did you want to come on? Like I don't think Mel's gonna be whatever." And then he's like, "Yeah, cool." Then Mel messaged me like half an hour later. And she's like, "Yeah, I can come on." And I was like, "Yeah, Brad, you're out, mate."
Good kick to the curb. I just got a message says you're out, and I was like, "All right, no worries." Good to know you.
And mate, at least you were invited last week. Cara and I were on the out there, thank you.
That's all right. There was some feminine energy in the room with Mel, so
yeah, she had it covered. I was going to bring the feminine energy, but
everyone can bring fem energy. It's okay.
And how are you going, Bohdan? You got a new gig?
Yeah, I start work at 8 o'clock tomorrow down in Ulladulla, so looking forward to it. It's a little 30-40 minute drive down south to the shop at the Repco store there, where I'm spending this week kind of just learning the brand and that sort of thing. The only problem is my wife and two kids have to come with me, because my wife has to drop me off so I can pick up my company car, and then she's got to drop the kids to preschool once she heads back up to uni herself. So it's going to be a family trip to drop Dad off to work for day one, and then away we go. So looking forward to it. It's been nice. I've had the last 2 weeks at home here, just trying to cement myself a little bit and have some time out, be that listing like a madman, sorting out stock that I've got in my room, but it's been nice to have a bit of time off in between. Yeah.
Will there be any tears when they drop you off at work there, Bohdan?
No. Gosh, no. My son asks me every night, "Daddy, you here morning?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh,
I meant you. If you're going to...
Oh, gosh, no.
No. Oh, 2 weeks off sitting around in the office. I'd have a few tears rocking up to work the next day. And what about you, Cara? How you been going? I saw you had a pretty big sale. I saw it just before we got on live from some RA.
Yeah, I'm good. So I sold a Camilla like kimono thing. It was $4.99. Including post. Because it's RA and Camilla is like generally quite expensive, I paid $240 for it, and so I make about like $170, $180.
That's
so
awesome.
Nice return.
Yeah.
Will you do that every day? That's it done.
That's the
One
thing.
sale a day.
I think sometimes people are a bit scared of paying up. And I get why, because spending, like, I didn't say this on my Instagram, so you heard it here first. I spent $1,500 on 7 pieces. So it's a lot of money to spend on 7 things. But I think if like your niche, you're like, good in your niche and you know what sells, then like why not? If you're going to make a couple $100 from each piece, even though yes, it's costing you $240, like the most expensive pieces I bought were $300, but I know that they're like the better selling things, so I felt quite confident in doing it.
Yeah, I think like once you get up to those sort of dollars, like the percentage you're making back, like can be really low, can't it? Like if you saw something for $24, you're going to make $17 on it, you probably wouldn't bother. But for $240, you're going to make $170. You're going to do that every day of the week, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. If you're finding RA or OA and like you're doubling your money and you're in that like high category of like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, then for me and what I do, it's worth it to like mix it in with all the other bits and bobs that I sell, because I'm doing things from everywhere, op shops, people's closets mostly at the moment. Like that's one of my huge way of sourcing is actually through small bulk clots, large bulk clots, but I'm doing a bit of OA and RA and stuff like that. So
yeah. Cool. All right, we better say hello to the chat, and guess who's in first? The Aussie Tip Rat. First every week, without a doubt. The Hub, Sup, the Disgruntled Octopus. How you going, mate? I saw you actually had a dress with some octopuses on it, Cara.
Yes, I did actually. It's such a nice piece, that one. And it totally didn't fit me, so I was very sad.
Yeah, didn't fit me either.
I think I know someone you can sell
if
to.
Disgruntled Octopus wants it, but he's got to pay me like $550 for it. So.
Well, if he's dominating the world, $550 is nothing.
It's nothing.
It's throwaway money.
That's it. You can just borrow it off Mr. Putin. I think they're in cahoots together. JT, Saints on the big screen. I don't know how they're going. Peppa Pig on the mobile and my crew here on the laptop. Rack Raiders, Legends, Jazzy. Chris collects things. And he sells things as well. We found out on a previous episode.
Oh, that's good.
That's handy.
Debus.
Rodney.
There you go, mate. You're already here.
Guten Tag.
Josh, hi everyone. Sorry I missed last week. Did the octopus unmask? Let's see if he was a middle-aged fat man who lived in his parents' basement. He did unmask. You'll have to go back and watch it. That could almost describe me if I lived in my parents' basement.
Are you classing yourself as middle-aged, mate? Is that what you're doing?
He's rounding down there.
I mean, when you're this overweight, you're not really expected to live a super long life. So I'm probably over middle-aged. Hassan, legend, there you go, mate. Victoria, Chrissy, howdy.
CL.
How long?
T-shirt game is strong, Cara. Got the Dolphins.
Vintage Dolphins.
Pete. Hello, beautiful people and Uncle Stinky. I'm going to start calling Pete.
I like Uncle Stinky. I'm going to vote for that as like the new channel name change.
The Uncle Stinky Show.
Yeah. Hey, I did some personal grooming today, so I spent
just
bloody
so
half.
We wouldn't see you through the screen.
Yeah.
Crack and sack, was it, or?
So it's not going to be not that far, but it took me a fair while to do my own undercut, and I have missed a few bits.
Yeah. No.
Looking fresh, man. Looking fresh.
It's not easy. My neck's still sore, so it was a bit awkward trying to do this with one hand and use my phone so I can see with the other hand. Dave, how you going? The Gons, Jada,
the Flip,
Books Along with Stuff. How you going? Mike Bromley. And that's it. Don't stand up if you manscape. It's a bit hard to reach around my guts to get there. Can we have a new segment? Has Uncle Wayne seen a shower this way? Oh, I mean, I see a shower every day when I go and take a piss because the toilet's in there. Whether or not I hop in the shower. But yes, I had a shower today, actually. So I'm nice and clean.
I mean, isn't the backsplash from your pee showering as well? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how you shower, Cara, or how you're peeing.
I don't know. I don't know how forceful your piss must be if it's splashing back at you. Goodness me, girl. Go see a doctor.
Got some high pressure leakage going on there.
Yeah.
Hitting up shops hard tomorrow after a great week. Sweet.
Beauty.
Good stays since last grooming 1. It's actually 0. Yeah. Yeah, I might even try and have one tomorrow. Who knows?
Oh, come on, mate! Don't push the limit. That's two in a
Feeling
row.
crazy.
Yeah.
I had to have one today because I shaved all my hair, and it's kind of impossible not to have a shower after that.
That's itchy territory. That.
Yeah, I'd be doing my best dog impression all night. I got some. I put up a couple of days ago on Instagram suggestions for underrated, overrated. Most of them aren't serious.
Yeah, I bet.
And there's not a whole heap, but I'll go through them. I don't know if I should. I'm going to read out who wrote them. I don't care.
Call them out.
Yeah.
You're not anonymous, guys. You're fucked.
Yeah. The first one is the Disgruntled Octopus, and it is American YouTubers. I'm assuming he means reselling YouTubers.
That's tough because we're putting them all in one bracket, aren't we? Like, there's some amazing American YouTubers that put out great content all the time, and then like any sort of YouTube content is going to be good and bad. So I think it's you watch who you watch, isn't it? Really, you can't.
Brad Sweden. It's going to be like a Sweden in underrated, overrated.
But it's true though. Like you could say that some are overrated, and you could say that some are hugely underrated. It's who you watch.
Yeah.
I feel like in general, like there's a lot of them. So, and I feel like there's a bigger percentage. So I feel like some of are more overrated because there's like a bigger collection of them, and I don't feel like some of their advice is great. Especially because I feel like some of the American people are doing it now because it's such a big thing over there.
Yeah.
For the views.
Yeah. Well, I think that happens everywhere, right? Like, and going on that, I'd say that Australia is hugely underrated. Just to put it out there, because there's a lot of great channels in Australia. So.
Yeah, I think there's so many that they mesh together. Like you could subscribe to 1,000 of them, and 99.9% are the exact same thing. And that's the hardest part, I think, about being a YouTuber is creating something that's different, that you're not just replicating someone. And that's where it's difficult, I think, for all of us. And sometimes it really hits hard to go, how am I going to create fresh content twice a week? And I mean, I feel like my stuff's pretty bland at times, just doing a What Sold Sunday. But I try and keep it as real as possible. I try and be as honest to people as possible. That's why I include all my figures. I do all of that because at least if people want to watch that, they know what they're getting is real. They're not getting anything hidden. They're not getting anything, subversive. Like you say, people trying to do it for the views. I'm not in it for the views. I'm in it to give information where possible and help people. And that's where, like, I think if people are in that sort of realm. But I also like some of the guys that claim themselves to be YouTubers that resell. I think that's a very good way of putting it for some of those guys. And I think it's very important that you remember that that's what their career is. They're a YouTuber that resells.
I like that they say that. Yeah. They're like, this is what I am, guys. I'm not here to tell you how to do stuff. I'm just here having fun, and this is what I do, and you can follow along with the entertainment. It's just where it gets a little bit messy is the people who are like, out there, they might know a little bit what they're doing, but they're like giving advice on like taxes or like finances, telling people to buy things when, they shouldn't be buying them, to resell, things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't watch I watch Rally Roots, which I only just started watching recently, a few months ago. And I only watch them just because I like them. Like, I think they're pretty genuine. Yeah. And I think they are resellers before YouTubers, really. Like, and they just seem really genuine. You see a lot of the Americans. I'm not saying, I mean, there's a lot of Americans that I'm sure are genuine as well, but they've got all the bells and whistles and everything, and it's more about the YouTube than the actual reselling. So, I mean, there's so many Aussie channels to keep up with. Like, I don't really have time to do watching the overseas ones. So,
I think Bohdan nailed it on the head just before, like saying that as YouTubers who or as resellers for YouTube, we're more about providing information to people that's relevant and helpful. So I think that's where the line is to me. If you're on YouTube and you're teaching people how to resell or showing them that you're reselling, then you should be providing relevant and good and accurate information all the time, and not putting up smoke and mirrors to make yourself look better or worse or whatever you think might be for the views. It's just, to me, you have to be straight down the line. You have to show everything you're doing and not just bits and pieces, because otherwise you're not giving a true representation of what reselling really is.
Yeah, most of it is clickbait, but some are very good at creating. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say most are just clickbait, but
a lot of them are just similar stuff that just, yeah. You know,
and in saying that, though, it is hard in this niche to create new content. So hats off to people who do, but also hats off to people who do the same content and we enjoy it all the time. Because I still enjoy. I watch a video for a reason. I could watch lots of what sold if I like the person, their personality and things like that, and they're still providing me entertainment. Like I want to watch that. I'm going to keep watching it over and over again.
Yeah, and YouTube's obviously an entertainment business, right? That's why channels grow, is they have some sort of personality or something different that the normal channels don't. And I think that's become more and more prevalent over the years, is especially I remember sort of 3-4 years ago, like a YouTube video didn't have to be frilly. You didn't have to edit a lot of it. It was just about providing information. Whereas now, like, and I'm 100% transparent, like our main thing is reselling. So I am putting more effort into videos than I ever did, but I'm never going to prioritize that over reselling, because reselling is what brings us in the income. So
yeah, 100%. And that's where, I mean, I'm sure Uncle Wayno feels the same, but like my videos, if you watch them, I try and do all my videos as one shots. I don't know if you've noticed that, like from my what solds to my op shots, whatever, I always try and do one shots. The reason being, less editing, so more time spent reselling, but also people get to see the reality of what you do. Like, we don't want to lie about stuff. We don't want to BS about stuff. We don't want to hide stuff from people, because that's when people start going, oh, I don't know if I like watching you anymore, you know? I saw someone before said, you know, that they like shed flips. And I think I want to talk about something like that, because I don't know how you guys feel about it, but what's your thoughts on, you know, the whole shout out mentality to buyers who watch your show? Because that's one of the things I find in shed flips when I used to watch them, was that 90% of their sales were going to viewers.
Yeah, I think in Australia we don't really have that sort of followings. Like, Australians don't, in my mind, don't have that like follow for just the reason of following. Like, we don't really act the same way, I don't think. I think it's smart on his front to be able to do that, because obviously he's positioned himself very uniquely, and Lonnie is very smart. Like, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, it's not really the same as you or me reselling, right? It's not the same playing field. It's a different level, and the same goes for a lot of those big guys like Harry Tornado. They have a community that will buy off them purely to get on the video. So it's a completely different field, and I think they are good at explaining that. Like, they'll say, you know, this went to a buyer. They'll say when someone's buying from them. So yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because you're presenting something that probably 99% of people can't actually do. It's really that 1% that, you know, have that following that can match that sort of level of sell through. So it's a different game. Yeah.
Well, if someone wants to buy something off me and they want a shout out, I'll give them a shout out. I don't care, but
300 viewers, if you want to shout out, I'll give you a shout out. Pay me money, don't worry, I'm there.
I've only had maybe 2 or 3 people that have mentioned that they know me, and one of them was Maddie, and that's what I am. He bought something off me and didn't realize it was me until after I sent him a message. So. A few people commenting about Harry Tornado. Like, he's very much a YouTuber, like, and he's very open about that. I think his missus has rejuvenated his channel. Like, I watch him occasionally. Like, she is awesome at what she does. She is a reseller, and he is a YouTuber. Like, she's taken over his reselling business, and he's just purely doing YouTube. So like, I think she's sort of really rejuvenated the channel. Like, and she's picked it up so quickly. Like, she's just really good at what she does.
I was saying to Jazz the other day, like we don't watch a lot of overseas stuff now, mostly the few that we started watching originally. But I was saying to Jazz, because we did watch one of his the other day, like how much Hayley's come out of her shell even in like the last 6 months. Like I remember one of the first videos she was on, she's very quiet, and I get that YouTube's not for everyone, but her level of interaction with the videos and her knowledge has just like skyrocketed. Like it's pretty impressive.
But I still like the fact that they do say they're YouTubers. So I watch them for the entertainment, not for the information, because realistically they go into a bin store, which we have no access to over here. So it means absolutely nothing to me. And then, you know, the rest of it is just filler. It's fun. It's fun to watch people go out and search and find stuff. And, you know, that's how I explain myself a lot of the time, that I'm a modern day treasure hunter. And that's realistically what they do. And so long as you respect that that's it, they're not going out there to sell, you know, $5,000-$6,000 worth of stuff a week. They are small time resellers, but big time YouTubers.
Massive YouTubers. And hats off to them. YouTube's hard. Like, it's not an easy game to break out like that. So, they're obviously hitting the algorithm right and doing all the right things. So if you can manage that and you're transparent that that's what you're doing, then I don't really have a problem with that. I think the gray area is when you're kind of suggesting that you're making a full-time income from eBay, but YouTube's propping you up. That's kind of where I feel like the gray area is.
Yeah.
Daniel in the house. How you going, mate?
Daniel?
And Nelly as well.
Nelly.
First fire I watched was two Aussie Thrifters, then Diary of a Flipper, then Pixie, then Aussie Flipper. Still watch 3, and yes, still follow you, Pixie, on Instagram.
I hope I'm one of those 3.
who drop out?
We probably
Pixie, because she doesn't make much content anymore.
I don't watch. I don't do YouTube anymore.
I was going to say it might have been when Jada got the kid off in one of his videos.
I think more people will be more.
They bumped. That bumped him up, mate.
All right.
What's the second?
We should move on to the next one. Free postage for all items. It's kind of not really overrated, underrated, but
we don't even do free postage on everything. Probably 90%, I'd say, and that's purely for eBay Plus. Like I don't even sort of suggest people do that now because I think eBay's changed quite a lot since when eBay Plus came in. But it does help us, and I have seen it in our results. Like I think we got an extra 80 sales from eBay Plus over the last 30 days. So you can break that down and, you know, that's X more profit, but then you got to work that out against how much extra you're paying for promoted as well. So it's that juggle. And I don't even, not that it's an argument, but I don't really even like talk about it anymore because I don't feel like it's too relevant. Like it's what you want to do and how you want to run your store, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like free postage. I do it on media, large letters, but obviously most people do. Everything else has postage on it. I found when I had free postage, my sales were worse. So it's just a personal thing, I think, really. I don't know what you guys think.
My niche, I don't need to do it. I feel like most women's clothes, they just have postage on it. I would do it for books, media. I would do free post on high priced items because, I mean, what's $9 on like a $500 dress? I would say for me, it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like it's overrated for me because I don't need to do it. But it's also relevant if you're in certain niches, and also it helps like with Brad. So
I don't find this free postage lowers people trying to bargain with me. I think that works the other way for me. People, if you put free postage, they tend to think that you get the free postage as well. So you can do heaps cheaper.
See, I do free postage on everything. I've never had anyone really try and bargain based on postage either. So it's like that's not something I've ever had. But like Cara said, my niche is media and sporting apparel. So I'm competing with, Rebel Sports and stuff like that, who all offer free postage. So for me, it's something I kind of have to do. And I just consolidate that into my prices, essentially. I don't list a shirt pretty much under $40. Hats are $30 to $40. Everything consolidates that into it. That's the reality. Like if anyone's doing free post, it's consolidated in that.
Cutting it in.
Be it a $10 DVD or a $500 set of comics, like I'm going to do it free and I'm going to consolidate the price of the postage in there. And that's just how it works. When I started a bit over a year ago, I was watching someone, and I can't remember who it was now, but they essentially said that, they're competing with Amazon and, people like that. And they all do free post. That's what people today are expecting, is that postage is free. That's why Depop, I think, does free postage for buyers or quite often does free postage and encourages that compared to Poshmark, where you essentially have to pay extra as a buyer for your postage, because again, that niche of Poshmark is a higher end sort of stylish market. Poshmark, Depop is young people that want to just grab something quick from someone else's closet and away they go, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we are sheltered a little bit compared to America, like in terms of Amazon not being huge, but I can definitely see it ratcheting up over time, where it'll probably get to a point where everyone expects it. I think you're right, Bohdan. Like, it is heading in that direction, which is why we kind of jumped on that train nice and early. We wanted to be with eBay Plus because of the benefits you get from that. But it's everyone to their own, right? Like, your 90 days doesn't change if you include or don't. Like, it's all in that same number, and you're padding it into your price. Like, if you're selling for something for 60 plus post or $69, it's the same thing. It's the same.
And it all gets calculated. Yeah, it all gets calculated the same amount in the end on your dollars sold, etc. Yeah. You get stung by eBay for the same amount one way or the other. Like, they sting you for postage costs, for fees, etc. So
free postage for me doesn't mean I need to refund the combined postage costs if I sell more than one item to a buyer. That is true, but there's a flip side to that. If you offer postage, people get their bargain by combining postage, and then they don't try and lowball you on your original price. So I get a few people that will buy, like, I had one guy just recently bought 2 videotapes, a bunch of DVDs, and like a game, and the 2 videotapes both had postage on them, and he got his discount for his postage, and he was happy with that. He paid full price for everything else. So I'm just going to go back up here for a bit, just because I want to know. I bought a DVD ages ago from Got the Meat Sweats. Now I know who that is. I just want to know what the DVD was. I am Got the Meat Sweats, if anyone wasn't sure. But yeah. And how was your service?
We didn't get a negative, so it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah.
He may have, you don't know.
Just checking in.
I didn't. That was the Lethal Thrifter that put that one in, so thank you. This one is from Toby. And he's not even here, so we can pick on him.
You pick on him anyway when he is here.
Yeah, true. It's darts. Darts. God, Toby loves the darts.
Underrated. Especially, I got to say, if we could get darts like they have it in the UK, oh mate, that's the most fun thing in the world, I reckon. The way that they fill out just a hall, everyone gets absolutely slotted, like dressed up, the whole kit, and a bunch of fat guys stand up on the stage and just poof, and everyone fucking loses their mind. It's phenomenal.
I can do that without the darts. Like, I don't need the darts to make that happen.
My hubby is pretty good at darts, actually. With the dartboard at home, and especially when he's had a few drinks. He
gets better.
He does. Sorry, my dogs are running around. I'll mute myself for a second.
Bohdan said underrated. So thanks for coming, Bohdan. We'll see you next time. Yeah, no, boring as batshit. Darts to me, overrated. Couldn't be more overrated. Don't even like playing it. It's just boring. That's darts for me is an extreme sport. Because just doing this, it's too much effort. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Well, Brad, you made a suggestion, Brad, but we kind of already covered it anyway. YouTube resellers. We've talked about the American ones, I guess, but I think we all think that they're underrated.
Well, I actually wanted to bring it up. Like, obviously, as a YouTuber myself, like, I think there's huge value in resellers sharing their journey. But I think, like what Bohdan was saying before, making sure that you're sharing everything that you do is the most important part of it. So I kind of wanted to take it from that angle. Obviously, from my perspective, I think, there's huge value in it. But it's kind of one of those things is you have to be careful who you're watching and what information you're taking, because not every channel's out there to actually help you. So I think that's a key thing that I want to discuss, but we've already touched on that in that last segment, I think.
And to recognize channels change over time as well. Like the CP, the College Picker. If you watch College Picker from years ago, it was all reselling content, out there doing stuff, etc. And now you go watch his channel and it's printers. And that's the reality. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's where he's kind of gone for years and realized, hey, everyone's doing this, I'm not really making a mark for myself, or I don't have time to do it, but I have time to talk about something I'm passionate about because I have a degree in engineering and I understand these and I can talk about them from my degree background, then perfect. If that's where you work, then that works. So I think that sort of thing of recognizing that not everyone needs to be doing the same thing. And if you're trying to grow and be huge, if you're just wanting to document and have some fun and just do it as a thing, which is where I'm at, I'm super excited. I hit 300 subscribers last week, but if that's where I stay, like, that's fine for me as well. If I don't get another subscriber, because for me, I do it because it's allowing me a chance to share, to be open, to spread it out there. But if people want to watch that, cool. If they don't, I'm not out there hunting for views and hunting for stuff. I mean, you look at my thumbnails. I don't do crazy faces. I don't do a lot of the catchy taglines or anything like that. It's literally just, this is what I'm doing this week. If you want to watch along, come along. And that's what I like about most Aussies, Like the first time I saw Judder, I was like, what the hell is this? It was him swearing his way around country Victoria. Yeah, him swearing his way around country Victoria. It was so weird. But he's himself every single time. It's the same as Uncle Wayno. Like, we get 5 minutes of Uncle Wayno singing along to rock songs in the car. And you know what? It's fun. I love it. It's Uncle Wayno going for a drive and doing his op shopping and post and whatever. And that's who he is, and that's what we get. And that's what I love about it. I love the fact that that Jazz had to admit to the fact that she loves pulling all the stock the other week because everyone kept giving you guys shit about you always standing behind the camera. Because I love that thing of that's what happens. Like that's how it is. You guys just have your fun. You do your thing. You do your procedure, but film it, and we get to see the end thing. But everyone wants to comment and go, "Why do you do it this way? Why do you do it that way?" But you're consistent. You're doing your thing, and that's why we watch it and enjoy it.
I'm very similar. Like I've talked about it before, that I'm not overly worried about subscribers. Like, I'd love to get them and stuff, but I really love the idea of being able to look back at what I did 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. I'm really learning about certain categories. I know DVDs. You can watch my channel and I can teach you all about DVDs, but you'll see me pick up like t-shirts and shit, and the first thing that will come out of my mouth is, I have no idea what this is worth. Like in my videos, like it's just really like me just doing what I'm doing. So I love the idea that, in 5 years' time I can just go back and probably cringe when I do, but just see where I've come from and what I was doing back then and all that sort of stuff.
I think someone said the other day that they're binge watching us from the start, and I was like, please don't. I'm pretty sure my first video was like in the wrong like pane. There was like random stuff in there that didn't make any sense. And then like, no, but it shows like your journey, and it shows how far you've come to get where you are now. So it's kind of good to look back and go like, man, I was shit back then, or my videos were like so bad, or I didn't know anything, because you miss that incremental improvement over time because you don't realize you're learning. And then when you look back in 3-4 years, you're like, wow, like I knew nothing.
Yeah. Secondhand gang, Vic, working on my first one. Let's go. Get on it. Yeah, like I even now, like you get better at talking to the camera and things like that. Like, you know, look, my first video that I put out was like unedited, just on my phone of me talking, like pretty much, and it's terrible. Like, you know, it's woeful.
The confidence that talking on video gives you, and even just me on Instagram, like I feel like I can public speak now. Like it doesn't bother me. I emceed at my brother and sister-in-law's wedding, over 100 people, and I wasn't nervous at all because of Instagram and YouTube.
Knowing you're talking to 5,000 potential people plus compared to like 100 who are already drunk and don't really give a rat's ass, it's like, great, you're not able to just message me and say how shit I am and stuff like that.
You can just do it to my face.
You can't forward this to somebody and talk about me in the comments afterwards.
Exactly. Back to that last one, Uncle Wayno from JT. I think that's an important thing, and you were talking about it before, Brad, is that's where you get a little bit stuck, is when you spend too much time on trying to create videos and not enough on the business. And it's very easy to do. You get very lost sometimes in how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I improve? And that's where I said, you know, I try and keep stuff easy. And if anyone's thinking of starting out, like Secondhand Gang Vic, all the best guys, but start out easy. Like just get some vids out there, figure out who you are, what you want to show. Don't try and have too many things going on, because you'll get lost and you'll lose track of where your business is. And I think that's where, you know, I commend JT in stepping back, both by her own decision and her business partners, because it gives you a chance to really focus back on the business and focus on what you need to focus on.
Yeah, and running a YouTube channel and a successful reselling business is a hard gig. Like they're completely different things. Yeah. And I think I've said in the past, like we don't film to film. We film what we're doing. So I'm not going out like on a certain day to get footage. Like I'm going out to thrift, and if there's stuff there that I can film, I'll film it. But I think it's very important that you understand if you are going to be a YouTuber or a reseller that does YouTube, there's a lot of time involved in YouTube if you want to get it to that level. And Bohdan's right. Like you have to, or I create time for myself. So, you know, I'll block out certain amounts of time that I spend on YouTube versus reselling, but I make sure reselling comes first. So I don't even know what I'm going to film for this Friday. And that's a problem because that's like my next vid in train and I don't have anything yet. So it's kind of like something has to happen between now and Friday. Otherwise I don't have a vid. Like that's just the way it is. Like I can't make YouTube more priority over eBay because that's just not what we're doing.
I mean, like talking about time, etc. You know, my What Sold Sundays are probably a 10-15 minute vid max. You know, some of them are less, but that can take 3-4 hours to edit, even just a straight no cut video. To listen to it, to add in the title effects, all that sort of stuff takes some time to then process and export it from Lightworks, to then upload it and create a thumbnail. Like that's a 4-hour process, and to take that out of a very limited amount of time if you're a part-time reseller is very, very difficult. To then do the amount of work that you do, Brad, that you and Jazz do is phenomenal, with how many cuts and edits and throw-ins and P2Cs and all that sort of stuff. And same with Judder sometimes, some of his stuff. Like the amount that you guys do is huge. And like I even think about the Retro Rescuers and the amount of effort they put into their videos. And I'm like, how do you guys even bring a video out like once a month? Like when they were like before they took a break there for a while, I do not know how they were not burning themselves out just trying to make videos as pretty much just the two of them, because the quality that some of you guys create is phenomenal. And and that's not an easy thing to do. Like I've done TV shows and movies, like that's part of my background in acting and stuff, and it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And so all credit goes to anyone who takes the step out into YouTubing, that takes the step into doing, regular Instagram lives, that takes the step into whatnots or whatever, because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of energy. And all the credit to Wayno for cutting us all off at the knees and grabbing the Sunday Night Live early so no one else could pinch it. So he's got easy content every week.
The thing is with the even Sunday shows, and this is part of the reason that I had to pull back, was like just creating a thumbnail. I know it doesn't sound like much, but when you've got all these other little things going on, trying to organize guests to be on, trying to get people engaged in the show, it's a lot. And it does take a lot of time just to even do that one little simple thing. And I don't think as non-YouTubers, people will really understand. I never understood it before I started YouTube. I just thought, someone throws together a video and throws it up and we get to see what's going on. But it's not that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it just before we went live. I've got a video that I haven't edited that I filmed two weeks ago, and I get too busy, and I've also been a bit crook the last couple of weeks. And when I finally get a chance to sit down or lie down on the couch, I just want to watch a movie. I don't want to be sitting there editing and doing voiceovers and stuff. I just can't be bothered. So, I prioritize me time a lot, because I've had a lot of problems in the past with depression and things like that, and I just refuse to overwork myself basically for those reasons.
Limit, right?
Yeah,
you know your limit.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem really sitting that video there for a couple of weeks, but I really want to get it out. But I'll try and get it out this week in the next couple of days. But because I'll probably film another one this week. So, but yeah, it's just sort of when you get around to it, because it just takes so long. Maybe I can do a deal with Brad and Jazz, and I can get the rights to it for the DVD rights to it or something. And
I think we'd have to pay you to take it, mate. I don't think there's enough interest in
that. I'd like to know the answer to this too. If you could tell me.
Still going by the looks of it.
Oh, there we go. They're up by 10 points.
Nice.
16. Make that 16. 3 minutes to go. Yeah, they're home. Hustle burnout is a thing. Really need to take time for yourself. I'm big on it. I'm really big on it. All right, next one. Turn my phone back on. This is just one that I came up with because I saw it mentioned in one of the Facebook pages the other day. Sending out offers daily.
Underrated. I think it's huge.
Send them offers.
People will argue that you might only get 2% of the people taking that offer, but that's 2% you didn't have before. And you can create little messages if you want to try and get that buyer engagement. But I'd love to know. Actually, you could probably get data from it from your seller hub, I reckon, that would say offer accepted or not. And we send them every day. Like I'll refresh my phone 50 times a day, and as soon as they pop up, I'll send them, because I want to hit people when they're thinking about the item, when they've just looked at it and they think, I'm getting a good deal. So I think people really need to, get on top of that. When I see people with 120 offers to send, it freaks me out. I'm like, how can you do that?
I mean, you can
on your computer and just send 6% off. Bam, done.
Yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah, there is.
That's what I do now. I hardly ever. Sometimes, if I'm just browsing on my phone, I will do, I'll be send offer $30, $40, but most of the time I'll just go to my computer. I've got 60 offers and I'll just send 6%. That's what I usually do.
Yeah. I'm the same as Brad. I look for whenever they're up, and I can't always be on my phone, but whenever I can be, if I can send it, it means that they're right there and interested, and I want to grab them before they go and find another seller with the item, or before they go to another website with the item. I mean, if they're looking at it, it shows that they're interested, be it for a price check, to buy it, whatever. But if they're a buyer, if they're serious, and I give them 5 to 10% off, and that grabs their attention, I find I get a lot of sales through the offers. And I'd say it's probably 10 to 20% of my offers I convert. because, you know, I try and get on there pretty regularly to send them out. And yeah, the overrated thing is when eBay tells me that an offer has timed out or whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck if an offer has timed out. Like, I don't need an alert for that. You don't alert me when I get an offer anymore on my iPhone, but you'll send me an alert if someone fucking just ignores an offer for 48 hours and it times out. Like, fuck eBay.
You know what's also overrated? I don't know if you guys, because do you use your desktop very much?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this happens to you, but it happens to me all the time. I'll go into like the eBay seller hub and it'll say that I have offers and I'll click onto it and it says 0 offers.
Oh, they're gone. Yeah.
I sometimes says I've got 5 offers and I'll click on them like, fuck yes. And there's nothing there.
Yeah, that's
trolling me.
That's lies. I hate the one where you go to send an offer and it's like buyer isn't eligible for offer or something, and you're like, why?
Probably because you blocked them.
Probably.
No,
but then
a lot of the time it's because they've like been a non-payer or they have too little feedback. If their feedback's under 5, I think they can't actually deal in offers.
Yeah, I'm the same as you guys. I'll send them out all day, every day. Every time I pick my phone up, check the footy score or something. I check the footy score and then into the eBay app, send whatever offers are there. Gone.
You get an offer.
Yeah. I mean, like some person has just watched your item and they've gone to try and find a cheaper one somewhere else or something like that. Or they want to look at other ones. Like you got, you know, if you don't send that offer, half my, like I reckon, I have no idea what the stats are, but at least half my sales are from offers. Either people sending them to me or me sending them to them.
Yeah.
And I think one of the important things is to not be married to your price that you've set on your item. Like I see a lot of sellers are. I will buy I will buy a DVD for $2 and it comps out, the lowest one comps out at $30, and I will buy that DVD thinking I'm probably going to get 20 or 25 for it. Like, I'm happy, I'm going to accept the $25 offer or whatever, you know. Just get rid of it, move it, and then get on to, put the money into something else.
100%. And that's something a lot of people forget about is they're like, oh, I bought it for $2. It says it sells for $30. You know, I want to get 29 or whatever. It's like, for me, my view is when I started this, I started with like $0. I spent probably about $4 or $5 grand buying stock and getting packing materials, etc. So I had to build that money back up until I was profitable. But I own everything now. Like if I want to sell something, so long as I'm making postage back, I want to move shit. I want to make cash flow. I want to get stuff going. And you hold on for stuff for too long, it becomes dead. It becomes pointless. You know, the whole point of this game is to be active, to be reactive, to be proactive where possible, and to get people through the door, because that's what eBay wants to see. They want to see you responding to people. You knock too many offers back, eBay are going to start, their algorithm is all sorts of fun. Hey, Brad, I mean, the eBay algorithm is crazy. No one understands. No one knows why.
I think the way I look at eBay is eBay want you to be selling stuff, and eBay wants you to be consistently providing the same sort of service, the same sort of responses, the same sort of input all the time. So the more that you can do that and build that up over time, the more you're going to sell, the better you're going to do. And you're 100% right. Like if you're not accepting those offers that they come through, or at least counter offering, if you're declining everything, why are eBay going to keep pushing your stock because you're not taking any sales? Like they're going to push someone else because those people are accepting sales and eBay are making more money. Like it's that simple.
And that's something I started doing was I kept getting offers at like 30% of my asking price. And rather than declining because I'm like, that's bullshit, I'm like, I'll just give them an offer at 10% below my asking price. Yeah. At least then I've shown eBay I'm willing to sell. I'm responding to them. If they want to decline it, well, then that's on them. Yeah. eBay sees that I'm actively trying to work with buyers.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a huge thing is a lot of people just get that natural reaction of like screw this person. But 9 out of 10 offers that we 9 out of 10 offers. I did decline someone today.
Not all the time. But sometimes I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, fuck you.
I did decline one today because the guy was being an absolute dick. But apart from that, like 99% of the time I'll respond. And if they decline, I don't care. Like that's their problem. But if I've done the right thing on my end to keep sales pushing through, then, I'm happy.
What do you think about running store-wide sales? I hate them. They never work for me. I don't know why. They just don't. 30% off, and it just doesn't work. So I don't do it. End and sell similar is what I do, and reduce the price, and it works like a dream.
We don't run a lot. We've ran a few recently because obviously we're starting to think about like hitting the road and pushing stock out and stuff like that. But generally, I find like the strategy of Wayno saying, and so similar, just don't do it on HP and get a Vero. Doing that and then also playing around with your promoted listings. So you might as well put that extra 5% or something into promote and get your item at the top of search. And if it's a good quality item, then it's probably going to sell for that 5% discount that you've just paid eBay rather than 10% sale. So sales do work if you use them correctly on certain categories, but not. I feel like promoted works better because eBay is getting a good chunk of the money. So, of course, they're going to promote it better.
I normally try and do sales when I know that there's going to be money around. So just after Christmas, just after Easter, those sorts of times, or in school holidays. Like that's when I'll run sales. When kids are around who are doing a bunch of hours working, they've got some cash up. That's the best thing, it's like tax return time. Far out. Like go sort of end of July, stick a sale on, move people on stuff because that's when they'll have money. They've got their tax return back and they're looking to spend some cash. So, yeah. Tobes was in and out then, guys. Tobes.
Yeah,
here for 5 minutes and then gone.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping in for a short moment, buddy.
I thought we were mates, but anyway, go and watch the bloody Netflix.
Off the Christmas card list.
I've got a big sale on at the moment. I use it to get rid of just dead stock. Like I don't want to. I do end and sell similar a lot, but stuff that's been sitting there for ages, which is like not a heap of stuff, but I do have some stuff at the moment that I'm like, okay, these are like hundreds of days old now. Like, I just want to get rid of it. So I probably use sales. Like I don't do like 8%, 10%. I'll do like 35%. Like that bitch needs to go. So it really, I get a lot of sell through on that sort of stuff. On the older stuff, like I don't even want it in my store anymore. Like it's obviously been sitting there and I just made the wrong decision in buying it. So I'll just slash the price and just get rid of it.
Get that investment back.
And I mean, the reality is so long as you've got your money back, like covering post, like you're going to be fine. Because you've made...
I don't even really ever like lose money even on sales stuff. Because if there is things in there, I'm like, wow, I paid a lot of money for that. I definitely won't put it on sale. But if there's stuff that's I know that I've only paid a couple dollars for, I very rarely lose any money. Yeah, I might make only $10, $5-10, then that's fine.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. So long as you're making $5-10 or even $1, $2,
getting it back.
Instead of sitting there going, oh no, I want my $20, like we were talking about before. No. And I agree with you completely. Like if I do a sale, it's not a 10% sale. It is at least 25 plus sale because it's not a sale then. Like that's an offer. A 10% off is an offer. Like, that's what I give out to everyone anyway. Like that's the thing. So if you're really going to do a sale, I can only encourage people to be very selective on older stock, chop it a lot, and make sure you're covering, your postage and a little bit of your cost, and you'll get stuff moving.
Well, then you can reinvest that money, right? Like there's thousands of opportunities out there to reinvest that money. So
I think in some niches though is like it depends on like what your niche is, but I think sales can work. Like I'm not saying don't do 10% because some people just select, like they'll filter out everything that's like they'll be like, oh, I want sale items only, and that's where like a sale is good. Like if you're just running 5 to 10% and they're like looking just at sale items, then that's probably depends on your niche and stuff like that.
Yeah, on those like higher sell through categories where like 10% is a good discount, like that's where you're going to get those sales.
All right, and we'll move on from the overrated and underrated. We've been going for nearly an hour.
It's a good segment because it opens it up.
There was one more. Sorry, there was one more from Judder, but I'm pretty sure Judder's the only person that's going to say it's underrated. It's VB.
Overrated.
Never had VB in my life.
Can I tell you a story about VB just really quickly? So I lived in Germany for a year on exchange, and we went to Berlin as a group of exchange students. There were like 40 of us. We went to Berlin, and we found this Aussie bar in Potsdamer Platz, and we all sat down in this Aussie bar, and like everyone went up to the bar and bought beers, and the beers were VB, I think, a Hahn, and Crownies. And Crownies. So all the Aussies, of course, went straight for the Crownies because they were all the same price. So we all went for the Crownies. And all the Brazilians, for some reason, went for VBs. And they came back to us and they're like, these are the best beers we've ever had. And we're like, we all stood up, like held up our beers and went, and none of us are drinking it. What does that tell you about how good these are? And they went, okay. And they dropped their VBs back and went and got a Crownie. And they're like, how have we never heard of this beer? Why is Aussie beer so good? But yeah,
a good friend of mine calls them the Green Goblins, the little green cans. He has these little green goblins. I don't know if that's like a more well-known thing or if he just calls them that. But, I wanted to talk about the Vero program tonight. Like, we're getting a bit late on.
We've got 3 minutes to do it. Let's go.
Yeah, go.
Donald Backlash. I've had one, but it was like 15 years ago. It was all different and shit back then. I know, like, obviously you just did a video on it, Brad, but Bohdan, you've had a lot of problems with them as well recently.
I had the same thing as Brad, HP. I would just never touch ink again. Plain and simple. It's just not worth it. I mean, you got issues with photos, with countries to send them to, with even when you change the country, like eBay has asked, you still get stung later because it used to have the country. And that was my last one. Like, I'd changed everything exactly as eBay had asked. And the guy saw that. Like, the eBay rep that I was talking to from the US in the end was like, I can see you've done everything we've asked you to do. And I'm like, why the heck am I still getting stung when this doesn't have US, like, doesn't have international on it? I haven't sold it to anyone international, but the reality is for them, it used to have it. So HP have the opportunity to see that. And I'm like, well, why would I even bother changing anything then? I may as well just sell it afterwards and cop the Vero. I'm like, why would you even like tell me to change it? Because if they're going to ping me, and this was like 2 months after I'd sold it as well. Yeah. Like, it was just ridiculous. So ink is something I don't even bother with anymore. I see it there and I like, cool, fuck off.
HP is the only one I've ever had problems with. Like, all the other brands, I've never had a problem with, like Canon or whatever else the other one. I can't remember, Zero and all those sorts of things. But yeah, like HP, high class wankers, shall we say, because the problem that I had, and this is ridiculous, is I used the stock photos within eBay catalog, and this was a long time ago, so their stock photos in the catalog have actually changed since then, which I think is part of the problem. And in the email it says, please remove these photos from your listing straight away so that it doesn't keep triggering that Vero problem like Bohdan's saying. So I did that straight away. So now I don't even have evidence to show them that I was using their catalog photos, because those catalog photos don't exist anymore. So it's like this big circle of bullshit where they're like, oh, but HP have said they're copyright. I'm like, well, then that's your problem for allowing them to be on your, your catalog items, because you're allowed to use them if your item is new and it is not in any damaged condition. If it's original, you can use them. But I'm not even going to be using them ever again, because if this is a problem with them, like, who knows what else is going to pop up in the future. It's just frustrating when you try and do the right thing and you try and, like, I had to contact HP directly and talk to them. They pretty much said talk to eBay. So now eBay are going to talk to HP, but I know that it's going to end up with them just saying you're going to have to cop the Vero, and too bad. Like, I have no evidence left in my back pocket because they told me to delete the photos. So it's like I have nothing to stand on. even though I know that's what happened at the time, because I didn't go outside of eBay to find those photos. Like, those photos were in eBay for me to use. So Veros are the most painful thing, and you never know when they're going to strike. That's the biggest problem with them is, there's a list there, but the list is never 100% of the things you can hit for. I heard Harrington is one that people are getting smashed for at the moment. So don't use that in any of your bloody titles. There's just so many out there that you just don't even know that will just keep popping up over time. And it is honestly the most frustrating thing you can deal with as an eBay seller. Like, we're literally selling stuff on a platform that has nothing to do with HP. Like, what's the problem? Like, I understand parallel import. I kind of get that because it's not sold to that area. But when it's a stock photo that eBay's provided, like, get over yourself, HP. Like, we're not selling billions of dollars worth of your stock and, like, stealing it off the back of a truck. Like,
I don't even get parallel import. That's the dumbest thing. It's like, oh, we didn't sell it there, so you can't sell it there. Yeah. So you're saying that, like, what? So these people that really want it, we're showing you the evidence. We're doing market research for you to show you that these customers are demanding these items so much they're buying it secondhand to get it. Like, what better marketing tool could you have than people wanting to buy this in a secondhand state? Like, I think of Matty when he got stung for the Nikes. Like, what better advertisement for Nike to get that stuff into Europe?
I think with Nike, though, they specifically do that to drive up want in certain areas, so that they will hype like that specific shoe within Australia, so the Australian market picks it up really quick and sells out. Like, that's a strategy for them. Whereas HP, I don't really understand, like, what's your strategy, because you're not selling anything there at all. Like, there is no strategy. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's no background for it.
Maybe
I have a really interesting story about ink. It has nothing to do with reselling.
Does it have anything to do with the disgruntled occupants?
Really quick. But I used to work for the police quite a long time ago. I wasn't a police officer. I worked as an admin officer in the anti-corruption branch for the South Australian Police. And so I still was, like, really privy to all the investigations and stuff. The anti-corruption branch deals with not just police, but all government employees. And so we had this investigation. This was a really long time ago. And what people were doing, what government employees were doing, South Australian government employees were doing, HP, I don't know if it's HP directly, but it was other printing businesses would give incentives to people to buy more ink. So essentially, these government employees were being gifted items if they bought more ink. So there was a ring of people who, in the government, who were buying hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of ink, like admin officers and stuff. They weren't selling it. They just wanted it so they could get the gifts. There was, like, I can't remember how much, like, it was a lot of money these people were spending. And because it was such a long time ago, it was more difficult for them to, like, figure out, like, where all this money was going. And essentially, like, at the end of it, people were just putting it in, like, in their massive storage rooms, and the police or, like, the anti-corruption branch would go there, and there would be, like, hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of ink just packed away so that they could get gifts.
Do you have the contact of these people at all? I wouldn't mind giving you a message.
Man, that was a long time ago. But it's really interesting. Like, even though it was, like, so stupid, these idiots, like, would have got criminal convictions from fucking buying HP ink, so they could probably get a gift basket or something.
And there was a story recently of that where someone got done for about $70,000. They were buying them to then on sell, essentially. So they were,
and I'm allowed to tell you that as well, because it was in the media, and I wouldn't say anything, obviously, because it was a criminal investigation. So.
What year was that in?
When was I? How old am I? 31. I was probably 2019, maybe, maybe 18. Yeah.
2009, 2010.
Yeah, I think so. Probably 2009.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, there's probably companies that have licensing deals and all sorts of things going on.
It would be very difficult nowadays to do it because there's so many legal practices in place now, or laws around gifting anyone. Anyone in the government. Like my dad works at admin in the government. He can't accept gifts from anyone, really. Like
that's like most industries,
most businesses.
Yeah,
most businesses nowadays. I mean, however, I worked for a company, I won't say which one, where we painted a person's whole house, renovated their kitchen and bathroom, and sent them on a round the world trip in order to be able to get their business so that it didn't go to another company. We also bought stock off another person's private business that they ran so that we could get the business from the company that he actually worked for's business. This is a multinational. Yeah, so this was Caltex was my customer. Caltex was my customer, and I didn't do the negotiations. This was done by the CEO. We looked after their merchandising manager by spending over $100,000 a year through his 7-Eleven business in buying stock from him, so that Caltex would continue to buy certain stuff from us rather than our competitors.
Wow. It all there's all those little under the table sorts of things.
Yeah.
Happens I've got some great stories from the anti-corruption branch, like some juicy ones.
Wayno, get her on again. We'll just see any corruption stories.
Uncle Wayno's anti-corruption world.
Chris collects things, wants to know if he's going to go to jail, Cara, because he sold some print.
So the crime was not the fact that they sold HP ink, Chris.
Yes.
It's the crime that they probably only needed 2 toners in their office, and they bought $100K worth.
Yeah. Not 22,000.
So they could then obtain like a bottle of whiskey or something. Probably, I don't know.
Movie tickets.
I was only 9 or 10. I was 30, Daniel. I was Cara's age now. Cara might be a spy. So what would you guys suggest if people see ink? I won't buy it. I saw a bunch the other day, and I'm like, I don't know what's what with the ink anyway, but I just can't be bothered learning it for these reasons.
I think realistically, as long as you're not shipping it international and you're not using stock photos, you're going to be pretty fine, to be fair. Yeah. But yeah, just be careful. Like, it's easy just to set like international shipping on all your items, but yeah, just don't do it on ink. It's not worth the risk.
Those big boys, they're good. Oh, yeah. You're going to get hundreds of dollars.
There's shitloads of money.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounded so wrong then.
Those big boys.
Cara likes the big boys. It's good to be that Cara gets out of the big boys.
Wow.
No, Cara's always on the lookout for big boys, guys.
Right now.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm good.
I've kind of left ink. I mean, I know there's money in it, but having copped the level of where I got a 2-week Vero, for me, I'm just done with it. It's like, it's not worth it.
Is there going to be ink PTSD in the reselling community? We're going to have to start doing counseling.
Have to have it's just crazy though, because it's so easy to do. Like, it's so easy for this stuff to happen without us having any idea that's going to happen. And that's the problem, is if there's a Vero list, right? And eBay should be able to identify issues before they happen. So if they think an item's going to potentially hit that Vero list, come up with a warning when we list stuff, like you do when you don't do something else. Yeah, like.
Well, I get stuff I can't list sometimes because supposedly it's got two brands in the name. Like, they should just have, if you're selling something under HP, it should be like, please ensure you don't have this on international sales or something like that. Like, it shouldn't be hard for them to set that up. Because
they do have it for onesie and stuff. Like, if you try to write onesie into something that's not a onesie, or like if you write leggings and tights in the same.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but yeah, like a warning like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to list Nikes many times, and my title is just normal, and it will say this can't be listed because you're trying to suggest two brands. You need to clarify what you're saying. It's like, well, if you can pick up that it looks like there's two brands, then pick up if it's ink. If you see the word ink in something, and just say, here is a warning before you proceed. Yes. Ensure that you do not have international postage on, otherwise you may incur a strike against your account or something like that.
And it's a pain in the ass for eBay as well, because potentially the way that Veros work, if eBay don't remove those items, they can potentially be taken to a court of law for allowing us to do those things. So it's a pain in the ass for them as well. So surely they should be investing time into making sure that these things don't happen up front, rather than waiting for them to happen and then making it our problem when realistically half the time we can't even find that item's potentially a problem. So I think that they won't take responsibility for it because it's not going to be on their radar, but I think it should be something they look at.
I mean, but even just the internal costs, like they lose out on sales, so they lose out on the fees that are paid to them, but then they also lose out on time that all their staff have to deal with, copying phone calls, etc., from people. Where if they had a little key thing that came up that just said, you entered ink into your title, please ensure if you are selling ink that it is all dealt with internally within Australia. Something shit like that. It'd be so simple to do.
And they have, like I said, they had the list there. If things change, they just need to update it. But we all know that eBay's clunky in the back end, and every time they change something else breaks. So maybe we shouldn't be wishing for that, because maybe all our sales will disappear.
Then we'd be being told we had 50 offers waiting for us.
Fuck.
Velcro, Kevlar, you can't use those words.
That says Velcross.
Velcross.
Don't put Velcross.
But Velcro, no.
You could probably put Velcross. Get away with it.
I've seen people spell Kevlar wrong. Like I've seen them do like Kevlra instead of Kevlar, and they got away with it. But I just don't even like. You don't need to mess with that stuff. No. Those ones are easy fixes, and you can get around them pretty easy. In terms of people understand if they're buying motorcycle jeans and you write lined in there, they know what that means. They understand. They know the market. Like it's not important. And same with Velcro. Yeah. Like who's actually looking for Velcro pair of shoes? If they see a pair of shoes with Velcro on them, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like they're not searching for Velcro.
I don't really get it. Like, do you know why that's a thing? Like,
it's like it's a trademark company. So
it's a brand.
Like not all brands that have hook and loop are Velcro. So they're saying that like we're listing stuff as Velcro when it's not Velcro.
Okay.
Like hook and loop.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to ask with the Veros, do you reckon they're getting a bit of echo here? Do you reckon they're worse for your account than like an iNode?
Oh, 100%. You can Veros can literally shut your store down if you get too many in the same sort of category. Your store can be gone, and if they build up over a certain period of time, like we've got 4 sitting there now because of the same issue. If I get another one in ink in the next couple of months, I'll probably get a 7-day suspension. And if I get another one, my account might go forever. Like it's very hard to recover from Veros if you get too many of them. Way worse.
That's why I'm not doing ink again, because I got to a 2-week suspension, and if I copped another ink suspension, I'd probably lose my store.
Yeah. 100%.
So for me, it's not worth it, because my store is tied to my website, to my Instagram, to my YouTube, to everything. If I lose that, like Falls Creek Fleets, that's what it is. It's gone. It's not worth it for me.
I think Veros are probably one of the most dangerous things for eBay accounts, because they're very hard to know before they happen, and when they happen, they can really impact your store.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, someone, I think American company or whatever, they trademarked UGG boots. Even though UGG boots were just they weren't a brand, they were just a thing here. And then they started suing anyone that was in Australia that was selling UGG boots.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. It's trademark words. Technically, cannot use the word without their permission. Yeah, I guess so.
Like
I don't see why they'd care. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, You're not
I think
trying to
it's
sell
because
velvet.
they think that it diffuses their brand essentially.
The quality, yeah.
Yeah. So if I call everything Velcro, then the brand Velcro is diffused within all other brands. They're like, no, this is Velcro. That is not Velcro.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think anyway. Yeah.
Oh man. So I had this Nike jersey. You know those old school 90 ones with the zips up the front that like everyone used to get around with? I found one in Savers, I think it was, and I put zip jersey because that's like what the style's called. And I got this email from this guy, and I think he was in the UK, and he's like, please remove zip jersey from your listing. I have copyright rights over this name, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bullshit. I was like, you're talking shit. I looked into it, and he does. This guy has copyrighted zip jersey because he's made these like new school street zip jerseys, and he's like copyrighted zip jersey. So I literally had to take zip jersey out of my title because this rando over in the UK has like trademarked it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Crazy person.
Wow games. Just sign up with your bank details.
Just do it, dude. Just
way better than PayPal. You're not. It's not dodgy.
All of us here do it. It's fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you give PayPal your bank details. PayPal were eBay ones. They've just recreated. Internally.
I've had a fair few over the years. I guess I'm lucky to still be around. Yeah.
They do. They slip off. Like I think it's either 6 or 12 months. I'm not sure where it is at the moment, but they dissipate over time. It's like negatives. Like after 12 months, they drop off the end of the cliff, which is amazing.
Yep.
So it's the same with Veros. But if you get the same type of Vero in a period of time, that's when it's a problem. So say I got another ink one now, I'd be screwed. But if I got one, say in, I don't know, maybe a DVD, I might be okay. But I wouldn't test the waters.
Sorry, Brad. No one cares anymore. We all just want to look at the dog.
Yeah.
Right now.
What's his name again? I forgot.
Finn. He's
Yeah,
just like, what are you fucking doing in this room by yourself? Like, talking to no one.
I think my favorite Instagram and YouTube content is when you show your dogs and when Brad and Jazz show their cats. If you just put out YouTube videos of your cats and dogs, I'd watch them all day probably.
I follow people just like they actually have they make money from having cats, and like that's their brand is their dog, and I'm like, I love this.
All right, well we've gone for like an hour and 20 minutes, so I think we might
cruising through.
We might wrap it up. Surprisingly, I actually don't need a piss. This is the first week I haven't needed a piss.
That's a new segment. Who needs to pee at the end of the show?
Yeah. So well, thanks everyone for coming along. It was awesome. I really want to say get over and sub to Bohdan because he's working his ass off and his channel's awesome. So get over. He's just gone over 300. Let's get him up to 400. So the links are in the description for all these guys. So most of you will be following Cara and Brad already, but go and head over and sub to Bohdan.
Before we run, there were two questions I saw that I just want to quickly answer during the comments. Number one was from Chris Collects Things. Wayno is Victoria. Whereabouts in Vic are you, Wayno?
Oh, I'm in Gippsland.
Gippsland, there you go. Brad and Cara. I'm just trying to figure out my finger here, and I can't. Brad and Cara are both in Adelaide, sick old South Australians, and this dirty old fella is Falls Creek, New South Wales, down near Jervis Bay. So just so you know that. He was just asking where people were from earlier on. Just, I think it's good just to put where you are because a lot of people might be seeing new people on here. Just know where we're from. But the second one, Rodney, my man Rodney asked the question of what free software for video editing is the best. And I'm not going to say what's the best, but I'll say what I use. And I use Lightworks. I have just upgraded to a pro subscription because I wanted a little bit more as I went forward. But thank you, Octopus. But Lightworks works really well for me. I have PC. I don't know, Max, Macs are different, but Lightworks works really well. It is a high professional, e.g. it is used massively in Hollywood for editing, so I do like Lightworks. It's simple, it's easy, and I do like it. So I don't know what everyone else uses for video editing software, but feel free to share what you use to give advice to those out there thinking of starting.
I use Filmora X or Filmora 10. Yep. It's really good for beginners, but you can also do advanced stuff on it. I'd highly recommend it. You got to pay for it. Just sneakily, I didn't, but you got to pay for it.
The anti-corruption branch is going to come get you.
She's sniffing this out. She's like,
I think
that's what Finn is. Finn's an anti-corruption sniffing dog.
He is. I think there's a few out there that people use as like the iMovies and all that for phones, and I use something that not many people use at all. I use DaVinci Resolve, and that is
DaVinci boy
90% free, and it is. I wouldn't recommend it for new creators because it is kind of like a little bit complex. But for what I want, it is amazing. Like it's very high demand on your computer, so that's why I had to build this stupid computer to run it. So it
wasn't free at all.
Well, true. Yeah, no, it wasn't. But yeah, it is a really good software. A lot of people use like Final Cut Pro and some of those other ones on Mac. But yeah, there's plenty out there, and just you don't need anything. You don't need anything great when you're starting. Like, just start with something basic that's free and
use iMovie on your phone. Like, it's so easy at first. Like, or don't edit much at all. Like iMovie, if you've got an iPhone, and it's just like cut and paste. Like, it's really easy.
Yeah. There's another one on iPhone called Splice. That one's pretty good. There's tons, like tons.
Jonah's saying Videorama there, so Rodney, just find something that you're comfortable with. That's the best thing I can say, mate. There's nothing that suits anyone in particular. So,
and Robbie is coming back. I cannot wait. I don't know if he said when it's going to be, but I think it's pretty soon.
Yeah, I think he dropped that like little intro vid saying. I feel like it was either this week or next week. So. I was talking to him the other day about it. I thought he meant coming back on the show, and I was like, "Oh, that's juicy information." But back to the videos.
No, on his channel, yes, his videos are coming back. So
great to see, Robbie.
Thanks, Pete. I have actually worked on this a little bit this week. When I say worked on it, I actually thought about what I might say. I tried to put a bit more thought into it. So hopefully I'm getting a bit better at it. It's not very natural.
Awesome. Not very natural. Like, it's not easy to run to actually run a show like this and keep everyone like talking and interacting is hard. So you're doing well, Wayno.
Yeah, well, and reading I can't read the comments and listen to you guys. So half the show, I have to watch this back to see what you guys said.
He's like been reading the chat the whole time. He's like, I don't even know who these guys are.
Robbie. Yes, I can't wait. I've heard a little bit about it, so I think it's going to be good. Wayno could navigate the space shuttle. I would, but I'm scared of heights. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks everyone for coming. Nearly an hour and a half. Thank you to you guys for jumping on. It was another wicked night, and we will see everyone next week.
Go send your offers, people. Send your offers.
And don't sell HPC.